Guess what, everybody? You just tuned in to the Yell and Danielle podcast. And you know what? Today is a good day to be here because I just went and saw the first showing in Mobile, Alabama at AMC Theaters and of the Odyssey. And it was awesome. And I will tell you this. This video is in no way sponsored by AMC or any other local theater. And I am not a Christopher Nolan fanboy because I know those are that's a hot button issue. And we, on this channel, we like to keep it light and fluffy, like pancakes, bro, like pancakes. I do enjoy Christopher Nolan's movies, some of them, but to be honest with you, I went into this with the idea that this is a movie that is a period piece on one of my favorite times in history, and that is the Bronze Age. And if you know me, when I love history, I love all history because there's always a reason to love history. I like to read it. I consume every bit of media. I like to constantly documentaries, just my whole life. I love it. So, the whole Trojan War thing was always really interesting to me anyway. And this movie, so it is 2 hours and 58 minutes, not counting the previews or the pre-previews or the pre-previews. And that's the thing. So we're going to get into the things on the movie, and then I am going to actually talk about how I feel about it. Because as you know, like I just said, I love history. History is one of my things that just, ooh, man, that really, I just love it. And I love getting immersed in it. So the movie itself, a lot of people complained. First off, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Anne Hathaway's face. Guys, nothing's wrong with her face, okay? I don't know where that came from. She was expressing just fine. People said that she has a quote unquote iPhone face and the Botox and stuff. She can't express her facial muscles. Maybe I'm just a child or whatever, but I didn't see any problem with it. She did plenty of her part. This is going to be no spoilers. I don't want to spoil anything for you, but she, I believe, really did a good job. So going to go ahead and give her an A+ on that. Also, people were mad about Elliot Page being in there for some reason. Well, I say for some reason, but we all know why the reason is. And also, I'm here to tell you, because we keep it light and fluffy on this channel, that's dumb. Stop being mad about that. Because here's the thing. The Lord gave us all free will. So really, you can do whatever you want. So it doesn't really matter. So stop having opinions on other people's lifestyles or what they do in their life. Because you know what? Maybe a lot of people don't agree with me. You know what? I live in a religious landscape. I'm especially being an ordained minister. And then the second people see that I don't have kids or anything, they're like, oh my goodness. And I'm like, you know what? Here's the thing. It is what it is. Okay. It's not in the cards for everybody. And I'm not talking about Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I'm talking about regular cards. But the point is that I saw the movie and it was interesting. Elliot Page, also, good job. Get an A. There you go. Guys, stop complaining about Elliot Page. He didn't do anything wrong. You know what? Dude's got to work. So it was a good job. I don't think he had any issues. This movie actually, it addressed a bunch of things that I really don't see so if you're a history buff like me, then you are really big into the mythology, the mythos, the lore of really anything to do with that side of the world during the Bronze Age. So I don't want to give anything away, but I will say you will be pleasantly surprised with a lot of the things that are in this movie, because it will literally just scratch your brain in certain spots. Because if you're a history buff, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I know that. I've read about that before. And there's a lot of things in there that really nod to that. Now, some people got upset because of the armor. Some people have armor. It looks like Kevlar. Look, guys, you need to just suspend belief on a lot of things, because this movie, if it wasn't going to upset some people for one reason, it was going to upset them for another. And you know what? I really think that this movie, they did their best. Also, for some reason, John Leguizamo was in it. Not saying that he shouldn't be, but I just never really expected him to pop up, which is great because, I mean, he's a wonderful actor and he always cracks me up. He is wonderful in this movie also. Tom Holland, I don't know why people had problems with him. He actually, in this movie, yes, he may look like Tom Holland, how Tom Holland looks. I don't find any problems with him. I don't know why people have issues with him. But one thing I thought that was interesting is these are just little details. Like when I watch, say, Pride and Prejudice, I watch a Jane Austen, rendition. I'm interested when I'm looking at the shoes and I'm looking at the way they have a lot of things set up, because boots weren't created for a certain amount of time, and it's just things like that. So one thing that I actually really noticed was the attention to detail, and a lot of this is so weird to even bring up. A lot of the hairstyles that people had in this movie, predominantly Tom Holland is what I'm talking about, were very of that time. So and Robert Pattinson. This movie's really good, and they do a really good job of collectively keeping you immersed in the movie as if you are one of the people. Because, like I said, if you know about history and everything, then you know about the lore and the mythology. And these people really, they're gods. They believed, you did X, Y, and Z, or X, Y, and Z would happen. So everything was keeping the gods happy, doing this, doing that. They did a really good job keeping you immersed in that. And basically, you really felt for the characters. So apparently this is the highest budget that Christopher Nolan's ever had to work with. And, I love Batman, and you can't talk about Christopher Nolan without talking about Batman for some reason. I said for some reason, but I love Batman, and I'll really take any opportunity to talk about him. I really don't need any main thing to talk about with. I will just start talking about Batman randomly. But I took a lot of issues with The Dark Knight, and not a lot, like to the point where I say don't watch the movie. But I'm one of those people that I love my comics, and I love what I love. I will say about this, history is a big deal to me. And to be honest with you, I do not know if there could have been other things that were done in the movie. There were a lot of little details, like very much attention to details. I know a lot of people have an issue with the speak actually took them out of the the mental thing for that, because they spoke in English and had a lot of vernacular that was of this age. To be honest with you, it wasn't really that bad. I think that's kind of nitpicky. And again, this video is in no way sponsored by AMC, Christopher Nolan, Christopher Nolan, nobody. So this is just completely unbiased. And mind you, I was ready to go into this with, already leaning toward not liking it, because Agamemnon is actually my favorite of the whole Trojan War thing. Guys, I know you're gonna be like, Danielle, what? Come on, what are you talking about? Look, this is so weird, but every time somebody, for my whole life, anytime someone's like, I got a dog, what should I name them? Even if it's a boy or a girl, if it's a girl, even, it doesn't matter. I say, name them Agamemnon. And they're like, but it's a girl. Well, you could call her Agatha for short. You know what? I just love the name Agamemnon. And I always thought Agamemnon was a really cool person in history. And I will say this, they do a very good job on him. I was fully ready to not like it, to be disappointed, to be let down. But I actually very much enjoyed it. They did a lot of good job. I don't know why people took issue with Zendaya being Athena. I think if you just kind of like remove the last 30 years of brain and internet stuff from your head, I really think you guys will enjoy it. And that is why I am pleased to announce that I give this movie a 10. I give it a complete 10, and everyone's happy for that. So round of applause all the way around. And I will tell you why I give it a 10. For one, if they would have done the thing with the language, I could be nitpicky, but I'm not going to be, because I grew up loving the Romeo and Juliet that Baz Luhrmann did. And if you know that movie, that was in the 90s, they basically modernized it, but kept the coincidentally, that also had John Leguizamo in it. Shout out John Leguizamo for being in good stuff all the time. Good job. But also, they actually kept the Old English in that. Some people call it Anglo-Saxon. Some people just like to call it Old English. The point is that it was very poorly received. Now, me personally, I think people just had a hard time understanding it because, big word be hard sometimes. But to me personally, I actually really enjoyed it. I've loved it ever since I was a little kid. And I thought it was a really good idea to bring kind of like, Shakespeare was of his time and he was a storyteller. We have storytellers of our time. And a lot of the times, like we spoke about in the previous podcast, you should be happy to have more content and bring it to another generation. And the way Baz Luhrmann did that Romeo and Juliet, I really believe he brought it to a new generation and did a wonderful job. He made learning fun. I know a lot of people who just have that movie on in the background because they love the way it sounds. They don't even watch it. They just love the sound. And I really, really like that. And I don't think this movie that was going to be a risk that Christopher Nolan was going to be willing to make. Because if he would have had the English, like how they spoke back then, I don't think you guys would have been happy. Because if you've seen any renditions, they do that a lot with the Trojan War. One thing I also thought was interesting is they had the horse in a totally different position, which was very interesting to me, because famously, whenever they would carve horses, they carved them in different poses, and you always see in like literature and some media of the Trojan War that it just stand on all fours. That's not really how they did it. Like they always did like poses and things. They were very ornate. So I thought that was a nice little touch too. But yeah, I really like this movie. The movie could have been more than 3 hours. It could have been 5 hours, and I would have sat there watching it. Anybody who knows me knows that I have the spirit of a little old man, and the second I sit down in a darkened room, there's a good chance I'm gonna fall asleep. I'm happy to report that I did not fall asleep, not one single time. Look at me. I'm growing up. To be honest with you, that movie has a lot of parts where it's very jarring, and they keep a lot to just, I don't know if they made these sets or if it was CGI. I don't really know. And to be honest with you, I don't really care. And I don't care to find out. And here's why. Guys, far too often people are just ready to tear down a movie. And I'm not really down with that. Like, can I just go to the movies and enjoy it? Like, do I really have to have a magnifying glass and try to find out why Christopher Nolan loves Cinnamon Toast Crunch? No, I'm not going to do that. He made a movie. I love the Bronze Age. Why am I going in ready to hate it? I mean, I was going to be a little spicy about Agamemnon because, hey, you know what? I just always thought he was cool in history. And you know what? Hey, I go into it ready to love. We're all about love and keeping it light and fluffy. And that's how you guys should go into it, okay? Even if you don't like history, I think you should go see this movie. I think you know what? Here's the thing. Avengers Doomsday has not even come out. It doesn't come out for probably 5 more months. And that's in December. And I'm telling you this right now. It's not because I just saw it, but it's because of my willingness to want to go back to see it. I think this movie is going to be in theaters for a little while. And I think this is probably the best movie of the year. Probably the best movie of the last couple of years, because I have to be honest, it takes a lot for a movie, especially a period piece, to really excite me and keep me interested. Like, even when there's little things that I'm one of those people that's like, well, they wouldn't have done that because of this, and this. I'm willing to overlook the things. Okay. The Kevlar armor thing, guys, let that go. I promise you, if you just go into this movie and just watch it like a person, just like, not as you're ready to nitpick it or whatever. Don't go on TikTok and watch clips. Okay. Go in there. I'm not saying this movie has to be experienced on the big screen. I'm not saying you have to go to the theater, but I am saying if you let this movie get spoiled for you, it's gonna really disappoint you, because there's a lot of things in there you really just would not expect to be in there. And then it shows up and you're like, oh my goodness. Like, I don't know. I really can't explain it. There was a lot of things with the costume design, and I'm not one of those people that likes to look at film like that. It's only really with period pieces, and I don't know why I do that. It's something that me and my dad used to do. That used to be something fun we would do when I was a kid. But this movie really, even the things that weren't 100%, they were so minuscule that I was willing to overlook them. Because for one, I mean, I'm not even crazy about Matt Damon like most people are. But I'm telling you this right now, he was really wonderful in this movie, especially as a lead. I don't know. He's been in a lot of movies and a lot of people love him, but I've never really seen him in a movie where I was cheering for him. I think his funnier characters is the main thing that makes me like him. Like when he played Loki in Thor, was it well, no, it wasn't Ragnarok, was it? Maybe it was, yeah. Thor Ragnarok, when he was playing Loki in the little play thing. And that was so funny to me. Obviously we can't mention Matt Damon without talking about Scotty Doesn't Know. So, I mean, that right there is just iconic. I mean, there are things that I like Matt Damon for, but as far as carrying a 3-hour period piece, that I really would never have guessed. And to be honest with you, he did a fabulous job. I'm not a huge Robert Pattinson fan. I know Christopher Nolan loves him. And you know what? He was a wonderful actor in this, and I don't want to spoil anything. So that's the main thing. I'm not saying it has to be experienced because the IMAX and something the way it was filmed. Look, I know a lot of people who love film and they're gushing over this movie because of the way it was filmed. And you know what? Kudos to them, and kudos to everyone who worked on this movie. Because honestly, I mean, there are some things you can tell is CGI, and then there's others you can't. Okay. As a lot of you know about me, honestly, I probably shouldn't, but I really just want to go sail the North Sea. I really want to be on a ship and just sail. And I'm not talking about like be on a yacht with some sunglasses on. I'm talking about like being on a ship, actually, and there's like water and, salt water is getting in my eyes, everyone. And I'm like, and there's a kraken or something. I don't know. There's not a kraken in this movie, I don't think. The point is that the movie is really, really, really good. And you know what? There was a lot of ocean scenes, which is great because, oh man, just makes me think, man, maybe in a past life, was I on the ocean? Is that why I long to be on a boat? Doesn't matter. The point is I live in this reality, and in this reality, I am a chubby little weirdo. And you know what? That's fine, because like Lady Gaga, I was born this way and the Lord made me this way. And who am I to argue with the Lord? Who are you to argue with the Lord? He made you who you are. Or if you believe she made you who you are. Everyone is simultaneously right all the way around the board. And you know what? Good for everybody. You all did a good job and you all get a gold star. Let's get back to the movie. The movie was very good. I have not enjoyed a movie like this in a very long time. And I have to be honest, it really gave me a lot of respect for the actors in this. And a lot of people said Tom Holland would not be good for this. To be honest with you, I really think you guys need to keep your opinions down a little bit, because people were like really ready to boycott it because of Elliot Page for some reason. That's a stupid reason. And that's the reason I say for some reason, because, you know, it really wasn't a reason to do that. Also because he's wonderful in this movie. He probably has maybe 6 or 11 minutes of screen time. A lot of people had a problem with Miss Lupita Nyong'o playing Helen of Troy. And I got to be honest with you, the way they did it and the screen time that they have, you know, she has her screen time. And you know what? If you have a problem with Zendaya playing Athena, or Miss Nyong'o playing Helen of Troy, or Elliot Page being in here, you know what? You really should hit yourself in the face with a hammer, because you haven't seen their performance yet. There's a lot of interesting things about this movie. And I really think if you let something ridiculous like that stop you from enjoying this, I really think you, yeah, that's not good, man or lady. You definitely need to go talk to somebody and not yourself, because that has not been helping you. There are no real big issues in the movie that I can honestly say are worth noting. I actually really enjoyed it. I'm kind of hoping somebody I know will want to go see it so I can actually see it again, because it is very rare that I will see a movie multiple times in the theater. I think the only time I actually did that was Captain America Civil War. And the reason being is because if you've seen that movie, then you know that there's a lot of emotion in that movie because of, you know, Tony Stark's parents and all that. And the whole thing about the band breaking up, you know, and it's sad because, you know, friendships, they end. It's like, that's so sad. I don't want a friendship to end. But that's the main thing. I saw it multiple times in the theater because it elicited a reaction out of me that I so very rarely actually feel. This movie did it multiple times. And I'm probably, the memory of it's going to fade, obviously. But if tomorrow I hopped on my TV and it said, you can own the Odyssey and watch it at home right now for $99.99. So essentially $100. You could go ahead and have the movie in your home and watch it. I would pay for it. I would, because I already know this is going to be one of those movies that, for one, it's once more people see it, they're going to see how good it is, and they're going to be flooding the internet with clips, ideas, spoilers. And that's, I know it seems ridiculous, a spoiler like, we know how that went, but you don't know all the tweaks of the movie and what makes the movie special. And I really think that that's why you should go see it in theater. Not because it was filmed in IMAX and something with a wide lens. Like I said, I'm not a film person. I do have friends that work in film. I have a good buddy that works, that's actually in, she has a degree in film. So like, she's really serious about film. Man, I gotta be honest with you. This movie, it deserves a shot. Like, go see it in the theaters quickly, because it deserves a shot to be experienced before the internet, like it so often does, ruins it for you. You don't want the internet to ruin this for you, especially if whether you love history or not, this movie is very good. The being in the sea, I just want to be on a ship. Man, I think I could like be one of those dudes that like row the boat with like the oars, like they're in rows. It's like two people on a bench and there's like 20 of them on each side. And then there's some dude yelling, "Turn the sails!" And then some dude with giant muscles is just turning the sails. And it's like, wow. I think I could be one of those guys, y'all. I really do. Probably not, actually. But in my head, I can. Remember how we talked about like ballet and everything? There's always that moment where you think that you could do ballet, even though the people you're watching do it has literally done it their entire life. Yeah, that's the whole thing about sailing. Like, I want to be on one of those like historically accurate ships. And, you know, I'm talking about like the old ships. I'm talking about back when mind your P's and Q's, where that came from. So if you didn't know, the minding your P's and Q's actually means mind your pints and quarts. Because back in the day, the bottles, they didn't have bottoms. So they would just pop a cork in there and put it on a shelf and hope for the best. So you want to mind your P's and Q's because you don't want your bottles of liquor just break on the floor. So that's where that phrase comes from. If you did not know, I just tutored you. You owe me $5 and I will take that now. I'm waiting. The point is that that's where minding your P's and Q's came from. Your pints and your quarts. So I'm not much of a drinker, so I don't know if the fictional or real dudes will appreciate me being there. I'm not a fan of mermaids because I always think about the lore with them. And yeah, I think they might be evil. So I'm not a fan of mermaids. I know a lot of people love them, but like if I see a mermaid, I'm going to be scared, you guys. So yeah, I don't know if I'll fit right in with the dudes on the ship. Also, apparently having a woman on board is like super duper like bad for some reason. They say it's bad luck. Why? I don't know. Doesn't matter because we don't even live in that area anymore. But it's so crazy that I wish I did, you know, like, especially since those little instruments that they play on the ship that does like this, like it's like an accordion, it's like a mini accordion. It's like you hear sea shanties played with them. Guys, that is a concertina. That is what that's called. And one day I'm going to learn to play it. And then it's going to be over for all of y'all. I don't know why. But when I start to play it, you guys are never going to not hear sea shanties. I'm always going to be saying, do y'all want to hear a shanty? And then I'm going to just probably have somebody constantly follow me around and say, play me a dirge, matey. And I will play you a dirge. And if you don't know what a dirge is, you need to go ahead and look it up. Because guys, I can do it. I really want to learn the concertina. There's not a concertina in this movie, if you're wondering. And if you go into this movie waiting for a moment where there's a concertina, there isn't. This is just my ramblings of my mind. Okay, so let's recap. All the reasons people were mad about this movie being quote unquote woke is unfounded, completely unfounded. And you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. The movie needs to be seen in theaters only for the reason of it not being spoiled. If they offered $100 version on the TV where you could get it like early and watch it at home, I 100% would do that. You really don't want this movie to be spoiled for you. And I know the internet's going to do what the internet always do. And it's going to ruin it for you. So please do not wait. Or if you do wait, please stay off of social media. If you have any hope of seeing the movie, it's going to make I am probably going to say that it's easily going to make $1 billion. It might hit 2 billion. I really wouldn't be surprised if it did. Only because like people like me who only go and re-see movies. Reese movies? Reese's? Oh my God, I want a Reese's cup. Man, shout out to Reese's peanut butter cups. But anyway, that go and rewatch movies in the theater. The movie's good. It's really good. And I really hope you guys watch it. And I really hope you guys enjoy it. And I love you guys. I'll see you guys on the next episode. And just remember, you guys have a good laugh.